My business has changed my life. It's taught me lessons that have been hugely instrumental in growing, scaling, and becoming better in every aspect. Today, I'm sharing some of those lessons with you. You do not want to miss this. I'm Phil Pallen, a brand strategist. Welcome to my channel where I share practical advice to build your brand. Today I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I'm really happy you're here. Today, specifically, I'm reflecting on a handful of what I'm calling business lessons. And actually, there are some of these are the most impactful lessons that I've learned from podcast guests that I've had recently on our show, Brand Therapy. One of the many joys of having my own podcast is the ability to pick the genius minds of guests. And on Brand Therapy, we interview guests from all over the map, literally and figuratively, to unlock secrets, hacks, and recommendations about all things branding, business, and life. From PR experts to songwriting coaches to speaking managers, I feel like we've got it all. I'll link to the podcast below if you want to check it out. Here are a few of the mind-blowing moments, important business lessons that deserve extra attention, starting with lesson number 1. When you optimize your sleep, you have maximum energy to get your work done. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, there's more to this than it might seem. Our guest, Tanessa Shears, is an entrepreneur, coach, and a biohacker. While sleep is, for obvious reasons, a necessity for being a human on this planet, Tanessa's perspective opened my eyes to the business advantages of sleeping more. Listen to what she has to say.
It's that idea of putting business away at the end of the day and actually getting to enjoy the lifestyles that we have. Like, we create these businesses as entrepreneurs and we don't give ourselves any time to enjoy them because we're always so preoccupied. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time, give or take half an hour on each end, that I find hands down one of the biggest things that'll affect sleep quality, because there's a big difference between how long you spend asleep and what your brain actually goes through. There's just so many cool things that happen within the brain when we do allow that time to actually relax and to learn what that is. And I think one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with is setting boundaries and then holding to them and being really firm.
Thank you, Tanessa. That's a great episode to check out. By the way, episode 138 on biohacking sleep, linked below. Let's keep going. Lesson number 2, to network online, contribute to conversations that are already happening. Guest Petra Zink, one of my favorites, gave us this aha moment about connecting with people on LinkedIn. You don't necessarily have to host all of the conversations to build a name for yourself. Instead, go to hashtags and speak where there's already chatter happening. It's brilliant. Here's what she said about the difference between being an expert and an authority.
Well, an expert is somebody who knows a lot of things. They are known for being really good at what they're doing. However, an authority is somebody who is able to translate what they know in a language that makes sense to their audience. But just as a comparison, we spend about 38 minutes on Instagram every day, and that has probably increased over COVID. We're spending about 18 minutes a month on LinkedIn. What people are interested in learning on LinkedIn is about what's happening in the industry, one-on-one conversation. And content equals conversation starter, and a conversation starter equals conversion eventually.
I love that. Thank you so much, Petra. Let's keep going along. Lesson number 3, to find out what matters to you, ask yourself, who am I when I'm not busy? This is so juicy. It's so good. My client and guest and leadership coach, Kendra Reddy, recommends asking yourself this question whenever you're feeling burnt out, lost, or unsure of what to do next in business or in life. When you understand who you are and what matters to you, it's much easier to make your next move. Listen to Kendra's perspective on leadership.
My view is leadership is all about relationship. And oftentimes the most difficult person to be in relationship with is ourselves. So asking yourself those questions, who am I and what do I want? The power of those questions isn't necessarily in the final answer. It's in the exploration of it. None of us can make time, or we'd all give ourselves extra hours in the week. You have to intentionally carve time out. The human brain can't distinguish between something it's experiencing live and a memory. So if we're journaling and we're calling all those memories and all those feelings back to the surface, of course, they're going to get amplified and your body is going to believe that it's happening again.
That is so good. That is episode 126 on exercising self-mastery. I definitely recommend giving it a listen. I've got a few more lessons, so let's keep going. Lesson number 4, get good lighting and look into the camera on Zoom calls. Now, this might not feel like an important business lesson, but hear me out. Times have changed, the great resignation, and the normalcy of work working from home. It is so enlightening to hear from news anchor and my dear friend Ashley Rowe, who gave us a lesson in all things remote work. This episode is really good. She recommends getting good lighting so you can pull the trigger on that ring light in your Amazon cart. She also recommends looking directly into the camera on your video calls for extra impact on Zoom, and really just giving some more thought to your work at home setup because it represents the quality or the experience of working with you. That's episode 108. How do you become good on camera? Take it from Ashley. She's the best one to teach you. That's a good one. Definitely check it out. 2 more lessons. Lesson number 5, go after sponsored content deals with brands you already know and love. Our episode with Jenny Melrose was empowering. She recommends scouring the press releases of companies you admire to find contact emails of sponsored content organizers. If you make a compelling case about why you're a good representative of your brand, you can unlock a new income stream with ease. Listen to this.
Brands want to work with those not that have huge followings. They want to work with those that actually engage and know who their people are and why their people keep coming to them. So that's really honestly what brands are looking for right now. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they just start putting out content with no intention behind it. I have a thing that I've always said to people is that you have to know your hate rate. And the hate rate is your rate at which you'll hate yourself for having worked on that brand or for that price.
So good. Jenny has taught me so much about turning sponsored content into additional revenue streams. It's awesome. Now, one more lesson. Lesson number 6, think like your audience. Our episode with search listening expert Sophie Coley was a compelling reminder about getting into the shoes of your audience. Once you know how to think like your audience, you can start accessing your audience through smart content. Genius. I love her perspective on this. Take a listen.
In doing that, realized that the best marketing work is born out of real human truths, and you really need to understand people. Great creative campaigns come out of human truths, and you will get great human truths from search data. If you can understand how they dictate what they're looking for, that's the best way you're going to connect with them.
And that's episode 132 of Brand Therapy. How can search listening help your brands? Such a good one. So there you go. 6 life-changing business lessons. Some of them really simple, but they can have a huge impact. I look forward to hearing what you think in the comments below. What's one piece of advice or lesson that you have learned in business that you want to share? Definitely go ahead and put that below. I've also linked to the podcast episode or the podcast as a whole in the description below so you can take a listen for yourself. And I've called out which specific episodes that I have mentioned in this video. If you like this video, give it a like. That helps other people discover these videos, which we work hard to create for you, and subscribe for more of my videos on branding, positioning, building, and promoting your brand. Next, I'm sharing a few videos that I think you'll be interested in. I'm Phil Pallen. Thanks for watching, and those videos are coming up next.